Love and greetings to you. I'm Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation. This video is going to be very, very important to you because it will help you define and decide which way you should go. Now, we're getting very close to 100,000 subscribers, so please subscribe and like the video and then share it. This is a really important discussion. So Gottman versus Friedman, I'm Friedman, which marriage approach is right for you? So Gottman is not a competitor, and that's very important for you to understand. And I have utmost respect for Gottman, and I was introduced to him literally by one of my first trainees who used Gottman tremendously back in San Diego in 2002 when we met. Now, what happened was I recognized that Gottman's approach is ideal, perfect, if, this is a very big if both of you are really serious about healing your marriage and you just don't know what to do. Now, I used to be a divorce mediator, so I have seen what it's like to put two lions in one office and say, okay, tell me what's wrong. They'll go at each other. You'll go at each other. If you get a Gottman trained marriage counselor, they don't do that. They don't pit you against each other. They don't ask what's wrong. They teach you. You see, marriage is not taught in our country, in our world, and so people just don't know how to be married. In 2001, a couple came to me from one of my psychologist friends who sent me all my business. And this couple didn't really want to get a divorce. They were so frustrated. So they asked me, an expert in communication, can you save our marriage? And I said, I don't know, I'll give it a try, but give me a few months to learn about marriage. So now I was on a completely different path, learning about marriage. I had no idea where to turn. First, I turned to my psychologist friends, and they were good people. Psychologists who want to help you, marriage counselors, are good people. But they're working with Freudian stuff and other things that are derived from Western psychology, which has no soul to it. I mean, literally. Because, well, okay, I'll jump ahead. I discovered, first off, that there must be a purpose to marriage. Why do people get married? And I thought, that's a great question. Why do people get married? So I started asking everybody, why did you get married? Why did you get married? Even standing in line at Starbucks, you know what people told me? Well, I met my soulmate. I fell in love with her. I fell in love with him. And I thought, but why get married? I mean, we all know marriage can be really tough. And I discovered it's not supposed to be tough. We get married in order to be happy. And when we first meet our soulmate, we're beyond happy. We are feeling love at a level that we've never experienced before. Why? And that's what's so cool about marriage. God gave us this gift, and there is a divine purpose for marriage. And that divine purpose, and this is not a religious discussion, and I'm going to entice you to stick around. I'm going to give you a communication technique that I invented towards the end of the video. God loves us, okay? We can all agree to that or we would be dust. He loves us. He wants us to be happy. And he knows the only thing that universally makes every single human being happy is love, and not an increased like. If you look up love, you will get information that says it's an increased like, but it's not. Love is an attribute of the soul. Love is the attribute of God. And when you felt that love with your soulmate, it was beyond the mind's comprehension, you see. And so this is critical for for you to understand. Love transcends the mind. It transcends personalities. You know, it's the trend these days to go, well, are you a good match? Of course not. One of you is a man and one of you is a woman. You're definitely not a good match. But when you find each other and you have that love, do you know marriage means union? Do you know that union is soul to soul, not intellectual? It's soul. And that's why your greatest moments in your marriage are like, can't be defined and it can't be beat. So if the two of you are just frustrated, like my very first couple, and by the way, after that first couple, and I saw what was going on, I worked with individuals, well, first couples, individuals for 8 years, defining marriage, creating a pathway to success. And it got to be where my people who sent me business were starting to send me business now to save marriages they couldn't save. And then later I started training them in the Marriage Foundation way. So if the two of you are like, you know, we really love each other, we just fight all the time, we can't get along, we want to, but we can't, find a Gottman trained therapist and they'll get you going in the right direction. But oftentimes, the truth is, usually, the two people who are at each other's throats, one of you wants to fix the marriage and the other has already given up or has become so passive about everything that that approach won't work. In that case, you use the Friedman approach. Why? Because I realized that the people I can help the best were individuals. And so I take the individual, and it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. I have 2 separate courses, one for men and one for women, and it goes through our site, the Marriage Foundation. And that course will take you from where you are now. It'll take you out of this hole where all you see is darkness, and it'll slowly bring you up to the light. You know, if you fall into a well and you go deep enough, you can barely see any light. And so think of it, you're in this deep pit, so much suffering, but I can bring you out with an education that will surpass everything and anything else that's out there, because it's based on universal scientific principles and laws. We don't mess around. We don't give you tips. We tell you exactly. For instance, when you start the course, and that would be how you do it. You start a course which is backed up by TMF trained marriage counselors. The first thing you learn is about the mind in relationship to you, the soul, and how that mind is currently controlled by the bodily drives, the instincts, and how you're able to control that. And I have a technique, unique technique to the Marriage Foundation that gives you unbelievable leverage over your mind. This is a critical step. And simultaneously, I'm teaching you the rules of marriage, the rules of the road of marriage. And, you know, the thing for you to do is to read our testimonials, see what other people have experienced. It's the best way to go. Now, I promised you a technique. This technique, I call it the buffet table technique. And here's how it works. Oh, by the way, the course comes with a 3-day free trial, so you're safe, and then a 30-day guarantee. And nobody asks you any questions if you decide to cancel. No one's going to say, yeah, but have you tried this? We don't do that. Here's how the technique works. So your husband or your wife, depending on who you are, says something to you. And it comes out like this, this, and this. Think of it as dishes placed on the buffet table. And you don't have to respond to everything. And you don't want to respond to those things that are going to unravel and turn into drama. You want, and if nothing is put on that table that is even quasi positive, take something that is capable, that you're capable of turning around. So I'll give you an example. So your husband comes home and he goes, "Oh my God, driving was a nightmare today. There was so much traffic." And let's say that's all he says. And you go, "Wow, I am so glad that nothing happened to you." You see what I just did? Instead of going down this path of negativity with him, what I did was I showed my appreciation for him. Let him know I love him. Let him know I care. And it'll change everything. And you stay on that path. And you could even say things like, I worry about you sometimes when you're driving because I know you're so tired. You work so hard for us and like that. So always think of communication as a communicator setting the table. And they may have their idea of what they want to bitch and moan about, but you're going to turn it into a positive. You can use this, by the way, in any venue. It doesn't have to be just your marriage. And you will see how amazing this is. So please like the video, share the video. I'm Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation. Go to our website. If you have a question, you could ask a counselor, or down below. I respond to everyone's request for a little bit of help. God bless you and take care. Thank you.